Okay, class. So we are working on discovery in discovery.com. And so you have two assignments that have been attached to Classroom that are actually done on Discovery, which is our textbook technically. And so you're going to do those and submit those online, not on Classroom. But when you click on each assignment, first one, why doesn't it rain in the desert? It's going to open, this is my teacher view, but for you guys, it's going to open something closer to the instructions, which show up here. And really, it just says read and complete the review questions about investigating weather and climate. So you're just going to click on this link. And so it's opening that up for me right now. Um, and you'll use your school Google login to sign in to that. So once it logs you in, it should take you to the page. So right here is where you'll go. And there's some teacher notes on here. There should be a way. So this is my view. I'm going to switch it to your view so you can see exactly what you have. So it says, how and why does weather change when a mass of dry, cold air meets a mass of warm, humid air? So if you don't know what humid means, it means like in the summer here, it's real sticky and wet. Humid means that there's been a lot of evaporation and there's a lot of water in the air. And so, um, what do why does weather change when a mass or those two masses? You're going to write your answer here. This is what you think is true based on what you already know. It's not necessarily something you've learned. So we are not learning new things yet. We're just saying, what do we think happens when that happens? Why doesn't it rain in the desert? You can watch this investigation video. It's only 41 seconds. The videos in Discovery are actually some of my favorite parts. The fact that they have little videos in between text to show and explain. It's a lot better than just pictures. So it says many people rely on weather reports to prepare for daily weather conditions. If the report indicates that the temperature is going to be cold, we make sure to dress in layers and wear hats and coats. If the weather report predicts rain, we know that it is wise to bring our umbrellas. Without weather reports, we would have a much harder time figuring out how to prepare adequately for the weather. Imagine having to check the weather forecast to know if your food will have what it needs to grow. That is the challenge of many farmers in Southern California. Do farmers in the Central Valley of California have the same challenge? The likelihood of it raining will depend on many factors. In this concept, you will consider how properties of the atmosphere and their interactions with land and water influence the weather. So we're looking at the atmosphere and their interactions with other parts of the United States or the world and how that influences the weather. And each of these three videos are things that you can watch um, to help understand that. It talks about meteorology, which is the study of weather, Earth atmosphere, and how we use balloons to detect weather patterns, which is actually really cool. And then it defines weather for us kind of too in a video. It says, what do you already know about weather patterns? So these are questions that are just, let's see what you know. And so mountain ranges often have a wet side and a rain shadow on the opposite side. You're going to answer these questions, right? And then you'll explain your answer. So these are sample responses, actually answers that are for me to see and not for you. Okay. So the first assignment is just this one page, the first discovery one. And hopefully yesterday you actually completed that. The second discovery ed assignment is actually posted. So I'm going to have to move my head here real quick. And I'm going to go back and let's go. This is what factors impact temperature changes. So when we talk about temperature changes, that's the most noticeable weather. But there's a lot of other things that happen. Like we talked about the water cycle, precipitation takes place. And so weather is more than just the temperature. We know that from our activity yesterday, but also we'll learn that from the Explorer. Now, the Explorer, there's a lot of reading, and there are some options for you if you need help with reading. You can, if you click on the More button, you should have a bar over here. There's lots of things you can do. You can change your reading level. You can set the book to Spanish if that's something that helps you. And I believe you can actually get this to read for you as well. So there's lots of things we can do, and I want to make sure that you know you can do those things on here. So if you ever need a calculator, that's available here within here. Let's see, you got the glossary, which we've looked at. But if you find that the words are too much for you, like there's too many big words, you can go to reading level B. And if I click on that, it's still going to tell me the same information, but it might replace some longer words with some shorter ones that are more simple to understand. So each of these is basically parts. We're always answering a question, and then we're looking at certain things. So this one right here talks about the factors that impact temperature changes. So it says the weather and the landscape of the United States are beautiful. There are beautiful beaches and snow-topped mountains. There is something for everyone. It's no accident that the weather from north to south, east to west varies the way it does. One of the factors that affects the weather is the temperature. Some areas have temperatures that are relatively mild. Other areas can be very hot or very cold. Let's investigate to see if the patterns to help explain what that means, why that happens. Right, and so this is just a picture. This is kind of showing you, this is more like climate because it's based on regions of the United States. So we need to talk about the difference between climate and temperature. And so there are 4 sections here. You're going to read each section, and some sections have interactives at the bottom, questions that you can answer, and that's part of your assignment. So I want you to answer those, right? This is a good page here. It talks about temperature and density and pressure. We can measure those things, not just in the water or in other objects, but in the air itself. So lots of meteorologists will talk about air pressure, or which is a lot of times how dense the air is as well, what's in it, right? You can have dense air in certain pressure systems. You can have less dense air, and that all has to do with pressure and humidity, right? And so we're using those things to help predict the weather. So when you finish, this is all due Friday, so you have time today. And then if you don't finish, and we're going to go over the answer parts of this in class at some point this week before we finish up, right? Guys, hopefully I'll get good news today and I'll be back tomorrow. You guys have a great day. Good luck on this assignment.